Well, video game crash, I think, is approaching on us sooner than what we think now. Now with Microsoft raising Xbox prices, PlayStation's going to be doing the same relatively soon. You can already almost guarantee that it's going to. And the Nintendo Switch 2 being a little bit higher than what we expected, although I don't think the Switch 2 is as big of a deal for its price compared to now Xbox raising its prices and whatnot, and that Sony is going to do the same. And, of course, now these are going to be $80 a piece. So, the video game crash, I think, is going to be approaching within the next 1 or possibly 2 years from right now. It's going to happen because not everybody's going to buy, especially the Xbox platforms. Because, if you look back at the sales from last year in 2024, Microsoft only sold less than 3 million consoles. Only about 2.7 million. Now, that's not terrible by any means, but when you look at PlayStation, that's how many units they sold in 1 month alone. Yeah, PlayStation sold at least 2 to 2.5 million consoles in 1 month alone, compared to Microsoft in a whole year. So, now, what I expect is most Xbox Series X's and S's are most likely just going to stay in store shelves. And, what I think might happen is places like Walmart, not so much the game stores, but Walmart, Best Buy, and all this, they're going to just not sell the consoles whatsoever. And I think they're going to eventually be like, you know what? We're going to put these on a discount price and we're just going to get rid of them and not take any more Xboxes. So then now there'll be basically fewer, Xboxes to buy from, or I should say fewer stores to get an Xbox from. Either a GameStop or some sort of a game place, and most likely Microsoft store alone are going to be the only way to get an Xbox Series X or S. Now, PlayStation, on the other hand, is also going to be suffering from this as well. But we're not just talking gaming as well. We're going to be talking about TVs as much. Because I just read a report that Samsung as well as LG, the two most beloved, top-of-the-line TV manufacturers out there, and as well as Sony, are basically worried about the tariffs and how much prices are going to go up for basically their TVs, and they know that it's going to hurt their business in the long run. Now, I know it sounds like I'm being a little bit, bringing up politics and whatnot, but honestly, yes, I want, what's best for everybody and for, the country and whatnot. I know I'm bringing politics up, but at the same time, it's just like, I also don't want people to have to suffer from being able to buy stuff because, they have rent or they got a mortgage that's like, let's say $1,300. Okay, well, they were planning on getting a mini LED TV, like let's say Hisense U7N, that is right now, I think $700 or maybe $800, depending on what size you get. Now their mortgage and such with those are going up, and now they're going to be like, oh crap, well I can't afford that. Well, I'm just going to have to worry about paying bills and then probably not get it. So even then, the TVs are not going to sell. The freaking consoles ain't going to especially sell with the prices going up. So this is actually another thing that I want to bring up too. This has actually made us change the way that now we play games, purchase games, and what kind of TVs that we play on now. All because of the tariffs and whatnot that is literally going on right now, and all the prices going up, like with Xbox. So now, for over the last 7 or 8 years, we've always purchased, as a matter of fact, here's Borderlands 2. Now let me see if I can get my one copy. And I already see it. If I can get it here. So yeah, here's Borderlands 2. PlayStation version, Xbox version. PlayStation version, Xbox version. Now, I know that there's going to be some people that are probably going to say in the comment section, like, bro, why do you buy the same copy of games? But then I know that there's some people that do the same thing as us. They love to buy the same game on both platforms so that way they can experience both versions, get like the trophies on PlayStation, get the achievements on Xbox, and they got, friends that they play with on both individual platforms alone, so that way they can play with their Xbox friends and also play with their PlayStation friends. So that's how I have been purchasing games for the last 7 to 8 years. I would always pre-order new games like Red Dead Redemption 2, as well as games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, just to name a couple. And I get them on PlayStation 4 as well as Xbox One. That way I can have both, versions, play the campaigns on them, also play with friends on both, get the achievements, get the trophies. Then that way if I beat one version, I at least can be enticed to play it again on another system so I can get something like trophies after getting the achievements. So now this is going to be changing due to game prices going up now to $80. And we haven't even literally been that long on the $70 price tag. Literally, $70 just got implemented pretty much 4 years ago. Microsoft also didn't start doing it until late 2021, early 2022. And then now they're one of the first two out of the three companies that raised prices. So now they went from $60 to $70 in 2022, early 2022, late 2021, and then now 3 more years later, they went up again. And yet, they were the pro-consumer company out of the three. Well, now they just made PlayStation look much better. So, at this point, with the Xbox Series X 2TB Galaxy Edition, I mean, that thing is $730 now. Was $600. Well, you could just get a PS5 Pro right now before Sony actually raises their prices, because they are going to here soon. I can already expect within the next probably couple more weeks to maybe 1 or 2 months at most. But I don't expect it'll be that long. I think it'll be at least a month within. But for right now, you can just get a better console for almost the same price, slightly cheaper, save more money, more powerful, and the same amount of storage. Yeah, it may not have a disk drive and whatnot, but if you want to buy a disk drive for the PS5 Pro, you definitely are going to be almost spending the same amount as you will with the Xbox Series X 2TB Galaxy Edition, maybe like $20 or $30 more, which is not like a huge deal. But to some people it is. But at the same time, if you just buy digital and you want the best console out there, well, Sony's got you covered, at least for right now, while the moment stands, a PS5 Pro that's slightly cheaper than the more, higher up 2TB Xbox Series X. So, this is what our game plan is going to be going to. We're, instead of buying games on both platforms at launch, there is going to be fewer games that we're going to be doing that on. And majority of games, like College Football 2026 that is about to be coming out in a few months, as well as Madden 26, well, we're just going to be pretty much purchasing or pre-ordering, if we do, the game on our default console, which is going to be most likely the PS5 and the PS5 Pro. And that is the version that we're going to buy first. But we probably won't buy the Xbox version until like a few months to a year later, when it's literally on sale. And if we want to own that version, then we'll wait till that sale goes on and then buy the Xbox version and save even more money. So, I know this sounds like I'm kind of like in a way screwing not consumers. I don't know why I was about to say consumers. But I know this sounds like I'm basically screwing over the developers. But with the way that they want to make things so much more expensive and difficult, well, this is the best way that I can actually do in order to save money while still getting games on both platforms. And there's going to be probably a few games that we may not even buy the Xbox versions on. But if it comes to like sports as well as like single player games and whatnot, I think we're going to most likely just purchase them on, both systems and whatnot, wait for a sale on Xbox, but buy them directly on PlayStation first. And I think games like first party lineup is games that I don't think I'm going to be purchasing on Xbox, like Call of Duty as well as Halo and all that stuff and Fable and whatnot. I think we're just going to stick with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and just play those games directly on there, because those games are going to stay on the subscription no matter what the cost is. Now, I do suspect this Microsoft is going to raise Game Pass prices probably from $19.99 that it currently is right now for Game Pass Ultimate, probably up to $22.99 or maybe $21.99 in just a few more months from now, or probably this holiday season, especially when they get like Call of Duty 2025 out and some other games and whatnot. So I do suspect that Microsoft is going to raise Game Pass prices by a few bucks relatively soon, and it's definitely going to hurt the audience, some of the audience that has Game Pass. And they're probably going to raise the standard one, which is $14.99, probably up to $17.99. That's what I suspect. I know I said that wrong, but that's what I think they're going to do. So now let's talk about TVs on the other hand, because LG and Samsung I've seen reports and a rumor and stuff on Google that they are panicking because they're going to lose somewhat amount of business with their TV prices going up, especially the OLEDs. And OLED is by far the number one superior TV out there. It is literally the number one best gaming TV out there. You're getting the best picture quality. You're getting the fastest response time ever. So your games play really smooth and just never have any sorts of lag whatsoever, or input lag, I should say. And they're just the top of the line. But those are going to be going up. And I mean, they're already decently priced as it already is. I mean, QD OLED is definitely by far the superior, TV panel out there. Especially, that's what Samsung actually makes. Sorry about that. Had a freaking throat, a cough there, I should say. But QD OLED is by far the superior TV panel out there. But LG's OLEDs are still quite excellent as well. Well, that's going to be changing relatively soon in just probably another few more months. And those OLEDs are most likely going to go up. I think that what they're going to be going for is close to $2,000 and whatnot for something like a 55-inch and a 65-inch size, depending on which model that you get. So, with that all being said, I think we have officially went back and downgraded back down to a mini LED. I know, it's probably going to sound odd, but some of you probably are going to be like, hey, that's not bad whatsoever. Mini LED TVs are great too. You're getting a boost in brightness that you just, decided to go with. And that's true. Mini LED TVs do still get brighter than OLEDs, even compared to the brightest top-of-the-line OLEDs being the LG G4, as well as the Samsung S95D, and then this year's new model being the G5 and S95F. But Mini LED TVs, I was about to say OLED again, Mini LED TVs absolutely have been getting better in terms of contrast and clarity and whatnot, and we just basically went back down from our LG C1 to a Hisense U8H from 2022 and a Samsung S95B to a TCL QM8 850G 2023 edition. And one thing I am going to say is that the brightness was one of the impressive things that I got to see when I went back to these two TVs. And so now, instead of us getting the LG B4 as well as the Samsung S90D that we originally was going to do, I think we're now going to get the TCL QM8 51G 2024 edition that's right now $900 on sale for the size that we're currently going to get, which is the 65-inch size, and then the same size for the U8N to put downstairs into our living room, where the QM8 51G is going to be right here next to our PC in our gaming room. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. Now, I am a little bit worried, especially with the way that Best Buy has been, treating us in a way. Well, not necessarily treating us, but every now and again there would be a TV that we would purchase to review for you guys, and it would have something wrong, like a real bad, severe, dirty screen effect where it's like you can actually clearly see this thing on the screen, and they just like to, count that your return or your exchange was not acceptable, but they did it anyway, so it just counts bad. But then again, we can call customer service on our phone, and they have said to us after we did complaints to them, they said, you're not happy with your purchase, it doesn't matter if you bought 1, 2, or 3, you just call us and we help you. So in the meantime, I do feel a little bit confident for that. But at the same time, prices going up, it's kind of like what is just making us have to change the way that we're purchasing games, and then now us going back to mini LED TVs for our gaming usage, because everything, it's just going to get more expensive, all because of the tariffs and other crap that's going on, trade war. I know I don't really mean politics in this, but it's just going to be really tough, and it's definitely going to hurt businesses out there. And I think that we're going to be in a video game crash. Video game crash is coming, especially not just with, like I said, TVs and such that we're doing, but with Microsoft raising Xbox prices, Xbox games, Nintendo doing the same thing. I mean, Nintendo is going to be okay for the most part, but Xbox I don't think will. But they in a way will with their games, maybe not their hardware, but their games, with them coming to PlayStation consoles, they have been selling like crazy on the PlayStation 5. So when in terms of them selling their games, they're not going to have no problem. The Xbox systems, that's going to be a big problem. And I don't think that companies like Walmart and I should say not companies, but freaking stores like Walmart, Best Buy, and whatnot, I don't think they're going to keep Xbox systems in their freaking, what they call it. I don't think they're going to keep systems in their warehouse if they're not going to sell, because that's what's going to happen. They're just literally not going to sell unless they can get, on a freaking, lease-to-own agreement, or basically a rent-to-own agreement or whatnot, where they can just get the system, make payments on it. Other than that, they are possibly not going to keep Xbox hardware in their warehouse if it's not going to sell. Because there's been reports that Walmart is starting to get rid of hard copy of Xbox games because of the fact that they're not selling. So I suspect that same thing's going to happen with Xbox hardware. So just to figure I make this video to let you guys know, I think we're going to be hitting a video game crash soon, and the fact that we're going to be changing our ways with purchasing games on our platforms. We're only going to be purchasing fewer games on both platforms, especially Borderlands 4 is probably the only game this year that we are straight up going to purchase on both Xbox and PlayStation platforms. And then now, the idea that we're going to be going back to playing on mini LED TVs because of the fact that OLEDs are probably going to go up, and mini LED TVs are at least going to go up to what OLEDs are currently costing right now. And honestly, it's just for basically short to long term. If something was to happen with one of our TVs, at least it's not going to cost us, a dime and an arm to basically get a replacement. So yeah, all this stuff with the tariffs and such, it's really changing a lot of people, including us, with the way that we're going to be pretty much purchasing games in the way that we're purchasing TVs now. And just all sorts of tech, and not just tech in general, but everything else in the long term. So that was pretty much a long video, I know. So if you like this content, hit that like button. If you enjoyed the video, you can hit that subscribe button, and we will keep you posted with more content like this going forward. And let us know in the comments down below of your thoughts of us, what's your thoughts about tariffs if you live in the U.S. and stuff going up. If you think that, us going back to a mini LED TV for our gaming usage is not a super big deal from an OLED, and if you think that, or whatever, that this is smart, the way that we're going to be purchasing games is we're going to purchase them on the default system that we buy, and then we'll just wait for a sale to get that other version later on after the game has been out for quite a few months to a year. Just let us know in the comment section down below of your thoughts with all of the stuff going up, including Xbox prices, video games, TVs, and just not just tech, but all sorts of other stuff. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. That is going to pretty much do it for the video. So, tech and gaming reviews, rate, comment, subscribe, and we will see you later in the next video. Peace.